platform that recognizes and celebrates unsung exceptional women dedicated to creating positive change through work in their communities.
Zuri is an impact story of women-led initiatives. Zuri came to being out of a need that was seen when we were visiting different companies that were doing different initiatives to do with women, but never really coming together to make a real impact. The Zuri Awards was formed to recognize women who are doing change in their communities.
The annual award ceremony, celebrated as part of the International Women's Day, started off with 4 categories and has since grown to 15 categories with over 600 submissions, 125 nominees, 52 honorees, and raised 20 million, providing 10 trade linkages. The growth of Zuri Awards and the need to do more for women in Kenya saw the launch of Zuri Foundation in 2021, which hosts Zuri Awards and enables trade linkages, training, fundraising, and a launchpad for women businesses.
Impact is at the heart of Zuri Foundation. We recognize women who have brought change to the communities in various ways, different sectors like STEM. We have women in business, we have women in humanitarian, and all these women have done everything over and beyond their capabilities to be able to make change within their communities. We do this by storytelling, where we create stories of these women and their work, and women use these stories to be able to tell the world about their work. This has led to various partnerships that have grown the women's activity.
So always delighted to read about you. You are showcasing women. You are celebrating women. You're going to showcase them to either get customers or investors. And so I'm delighted to see that you've got a competition or an event where you celebrate these women. 600 entries is a big one. And I recall recently, I think we worked with one of your proteges, Tender. So we were delighted to find that we are competing with you. So keep up the good one. I think you will find us as a supporting partner. We wish you well in your event. Count on us to live your dream. Count on us to live our purpose, to celebrating life every day, everywhere, and with everybody, to be honest. Yeah. Best wishes.
We attribute the success of Zuri Foundation by the partners that we have. These are the government, the developmental partners, and the private sector. We would not have done any of these and achieved the vision of Zuri Foundation without your support. Asante sana.
Will you be part of the change? Participate to bring change to the world through Zuri Foundation.
I'm really honored to be here this evening at this very special occasion that recognizes and celebrates women who are impacting and changing the lives of others in our communities, particularly in the fields of technology, health, energy, and humanitarian sectors. We really applaud the significant role that these women play, these women that are going to be recognized today, and indeed all of us, the role that we all play in advancing gender equality in our day-to-day lives. Let me make a few observations on the state of gender equality in a few sectors in Kenya. Like I said at the beginning, today is when we sit back, take stock of how far we've come, but also look ourselves in the mirror and say, hey, even as we celebrate that now we can open bank accounts without our husbands needing to accompany us to the bank, and that, you know, we are getting more and more females graduating through universities and tertiary education, or that we are getting more and more women now sitting on our boards, right, in the corporate world, really running things in the corporate world and doing amazing things in there. So as we celebrate that, we must also look in the mirror and say, hey, but that's not all. Some experts that met at the World Economic Forum before COVID, I think that was 2019, said that at the pace that we are going to need 100 years to achieve gender equality. Now I ask all of you here, do we have 100 years to wait for gender equality? Oh, that's not very convincing. Maybe you want to wait for gender equality. I certainly don't want to wait for 100 years, right? I want to enjoy gender equality in my generation now. So we are stuck at the current 22% of all members of parliament, and this is even lower than our own target that we have set in our constitution, where we have said not more than 2/3 of one gender can occupy elective and appointive positions. So at 22%, we are at the bottom of the log when we compare with all other countries in the region, in the East African region. And then, so even as we are struggling with the 30% target on women's political participation, the truth is that the SDG targets have already moved to 50%. So we just have to redouble our efforts in that sector. On gender-based violence, I think we all read, we see the harrowing stories of survivors of violence every day. Others are not so lucky to survive. They become statistics that we say these were victims of gender-based violence. Others are maimed for life. So there is a lot that is happening that still condones acts of violence against women and girls. So we really acknowledge that government of Kenya has gone ahead to become a global leader on ending gender-based violence through its leadership of the Gender-Based Violence Action Coalition at the global level under the Generation Equality Forum. So government of Kenya has made 12 commitments. You need to all know what is government of Kenya committed. If you are as serious as I am, that I am going to experience equality in my generation, you need to find out what those 12 commitments are that government of Kenya has made. So that's a first step, right? But we need to see full implementation, full resourcing, full accountability for the achievement of those commitments, because on their own, they are not going to protect women. They are not going to protect girls. The last part that I want to talk about is on women's economic empowerment. So even though a lot has been done in this sphere by government and by all of us, I'm sure, to bring economic independence and autonomy to women and really increase their participation in development of various sectors. So we really commend that. We commend efforts such as the Women's Enterprise Fund, the establishment of the Youth Enterprise Fund, the OEGO, the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, and APCO. So those of us who are in business, I hope you know that there is a certain part, up to 30%, that's been set aside by government to buy from young people who are in business, to buy from women, to buy from people with disabilities. And I hope we take up those opportunities, right? However, there is a lot more that needs to be done to translate all of these policies and funds into concrete opportunities that change women's economic status, not in small-scale ways that recycle women in poverty. I think you agree with me that there is nothing small-scale about women, right? So we should adopt ways that transform the lives of women, transform their families, and transform their communities in a sustainable way that says goodbye to generational poverty forever. So our call to action as I end, one, we need to work together, all of us at different levels, to ensure that we are strengthening grassroots mobilization of women to understand their civil and political rights, including the gaps that currently exist, so that they can also hold their leaders to account for these commitments. Then secondly, we need to hold political parties to account for the implementation of the 2/3 principle in the Constitution, especially in the upcoming general elections in August 2022. Then we need to also ensure that prevention of violence against women in politics, in elections, because now we know that it is a strategy that people use to kick women out of the political space. So they employ all these horrendous forms of violence against women to kick them out of the political races. So we need to really address that, call it out, including on social media, by the way. So if you are also being part of the people that get used to post terrible things about women candidates, we are watching, right? And then last but not least, we need to concentrate efforts on programs that address structural barriers to women's economic empowerment, including understanding climate change and equipping women farmers to adapt For example, through climate-smart agricultural practices, where women are at the center, given how much they contribute to food security in the country, but also in the region. So let me end by congratulating and celebrating the women that will be receiving the Zuri Awards today, and those that were nominated. To us, you are already winners. I thank you.
One more round of applause for Anna Mukavati, UN Women Country Representative. And indeed, a lot more needs to be done. That 100-year timeline actually gets worse when you think about what it means for sub-Saharan Africa. 135 years to close the gender gap. So a lot of work still needs to be done in that area in advancing the gender agenda. Our next speaker is Her Excellency Karen Hageman, Deputy Head of Delegation to Kenya, who's also a very key partner in this process to tell us more about what the EU is doing here. Round of applause for Her Excellency.
Thank you very much. So, my name is Hageman. I'm the Deputy Ambassador of the European Union here in Kenya. And I apologize, my ambassador, Henrietta Geiger, really wanted to be here. But as you know, we have UNEA going on this week, and the commissioner was here. And normally when a VVIP comes from headquarters, you have to accompany them from the beginning to the end. The flight got changed, and so she had to be at the airport right now. So I was told last night, can you please take over? And my first reaction, I think, in gender equality is a very typical one. I said, I only have one dress that's purple, and I wore that last year at the Zuri Awards. I can't wear the same dress again. Now, my previous ambassador, a man, I'm sure he wore the same suit over and over to events, and nobody commented on that. But if we as women wear the same dress to two events, even if they're a year apart, everybody comments on that. And I had it even when I went on mission, and I had one jacket, and on the second day I got Twitter comments saying, are you always wearing the same jacket? I'm on mission. How many jackets do you want me to take anyway? So there's another aspect of gender equality that maybe we need to work on. Thank you very much. I loved being here last year, and I'm happy to be here again. I was planning to come in any case, but now I'm here as the speaker. I very much acknowledge all of the VVIPs. I don't really want to go through them all, because actually I think the important ones are all of the nominees. I don't even talk about awardees, we'll get to that later, but just being nominated for this, I think, is an incredibly big achievement. So congratulations to all of you. So I'm really happy again to be here. We as the European Union have been supporting the Zuri Awards, a platform that recognizes, celebrates, and supports the unsung exceptional women who are dedicated to creating positive change through work in their communities. As you are very well aware, This is part of the International Women's Day celebrations this year, as it was in past years, and that's why we're having this around the 8th of March. International Women's Day is celebrated globally on the 8th of March and has been taking place for over a century. So there's that century again that we've been already working on. We can't wait another 100 years. The objective is to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women here and everywhere. The day also marks a call to action to accelerate gender parity, imagining a gender-equal, inclusive world where differences are valued and celebrated. A world where we can collectively forge women's equality, starting with breaking the bias within ourselves, in our communities, workplaces, parliaments, schools, campuses, and homes. From the EU side, our action on gender are guided by some documents that get discussed in Brussels and all the member states give input. So there's a gender equality strategy that we have. That's a 5-year document. And then we have a gender action plan. We're currently on the 3rd gender action plan. The action plan is much more concrete of what do we do. And one of our key commitments in this action plan is to ensure that at least 85% of all our new actions that we have here in Kenya, but also worldwide, 85% will contribute to gender equality and women's empowerment by 2025. And it means that if somebody proposes a project here in Kenya or anywhere else that doesn't look at the gender issue, it's very hard to argue. You have to actually argue why it's still worth doing, even though it doesn't address women's issues in some form. So that's different from before, when you sort of could say, oh, we're building a road, so that has nothing to do with women. First of all, building a road has a lot to do with women, because it means that you're getting people from one place to another. So the question is, who gets to go on the road? Do you only look at cars, or do you look at what's next to the road, etc., etc.? Which way does the road go? Does it go close to the next town where maybe the women want to go to the market, or does it go farther afield where maybe the men want to get the jobs, etc.? So women's issues are very much part of building a road. Or any of the other issues that we often look at and say, that's gender neutral. But if there really is a program that we have where somebody says, no, that actually doesn't have any women's issues, they have to argue why it's still worth for us to fund it. That's where we are now. And that's, I think, incredibly important for our future programming. The EU will seek cooperation in what we call a Team Europe approach, and I'm very happy also to have the Irish ambassador here as part of that Team Europe approach. We are working together with the member states that we have here. We've seen this week, actually, it's been incredible to see also how we as the Team Europe have been working together on UNEA, but we also work much more in everyday work together on defining how we want to work together in Kenya. So in this Team Europe approach, we work jointly with the member states, and our priority areas here in Kenya, which I want to say are also overall in tandem with what the ministry has presented, will include the improved access to quality, youth-friendly sexual and reproductive health services and information. Will include women and youth participation in politics and decision-making processes. Support Kenya's efforts to eliminate GBV and other harmful practices. Promote and protect the rights of children, including the girl child. Improve the improvement of skills and economic opportunities, as well as the reduction of the digital gap. More equal access to information and basic services, and finally, an advancement of the Women, Peace and Security agenda. This is what we've set ourselves as a goal in our next multi-annual indicative program, is what it's called. It's the next program for the next 7 years. So this is what we would be focusing on. And in the context of our Gender Action Plan, I'm also pleased to report back to you that a draft joint gender analysis by UN Women and the EU has been finalized and will be shared in the coming month. Under this Gender Action Plan, the EU also has the obligation to draft a country-level implementation plan, which I'm very curious to see. I'm happy to report that this also has now been completed. And the use of the data in these documents is super important. I know data always sounds very technical, but data is so important for us to make the arguments. And this data will therefore inform our national and county level planning, both also on the UN and EU level and at government level, the program monitoring and policy making, and it will help us make evidence-based choices. I'm therefore confident that our engagement with Kenya will continue to have women's needs and concerns in focus. Together, we can forge women's equality here in Kenya, in Africa, and all over the world. Collectively, we can all break the bias for a brighter future for all of us, and not just in 100 years. Asante sana.
One more round of applause for Her Excellency, Hageman. And I've just been alerted, so as opposed to being streamed on Viusasa, we're actually streaming on Citizen Digital. So you know what that means, we have more eyeballs, which means you need to be on your best behavior. They are watching. All right, moving to our next speaker, Ms. Rashid, the founder and executive director of Nishik Foundation. She was a veteran winner from one of the last Zuri Awards, just to tell us more about what it means, what it's done for her so far, and the traction she has received from the Zuri Awards. Round of applause for her as she makes her way up.
You can hear me here. I know you are nervous. In 2019, for the nominees, I was just sitting there, super nervous, not knowing what to go next. So I totally understand what the feeling is right now, that we just want it to be done over. We reached the award part from a design and I but I'm here to tell you. Oh, sorry, let me use the mic. So let me start. 2019, I was just sitting in the same position as you're sitting. I was very nervous. I was sitting beside Nadia Abdallah, who is currently the cast. And she was my friend because we are from the Miss President TV show. And that day, I did not know that I was going to win the award. And sitting at that table on that day, Nadia did not know that she was going to be one of the youngest cabinet chief administrative secretaries in the country of Kenya. So we were sitting there and we are just giving each other hopes. I know that is what you are doing with your colleagues right now, giving each other hopes and just saying, it's okay, even if it is not me, for as long as it is you, it's okay. But one thing that the Zuri Award did for me was it actually launched me to where I am right now. Where I am right now, I have done so much. And just to quote a quote from one of my closest friends, she keeps on telling me that once there's a seed planted in your heart, you will find ways, the universe will find ways to make the seed blossom into a tree that will produce flowers. And for me, I thought that the tree was planted, the seed was planted in me because of the community work that I was doing, but it was not watered, so it was just a seed under the ground. But when I got the Zuri Award, and I remember I did not expect it. First of all, I had imposter syndrome. Sitting there, I was just thinking, Aish, all these women are doing super amazing work. So how am I going to make sure that I'm going to beat them? And I felt that it was, whether we like to accept it or not, it is a competition. But one thing that I got from Zuri Award was super intentional people that I'm working with. I've been working with Nadia since ever. I work with Dr. Chow, who was a nominee who was an awardee in 2018, who I know, Brenda, one of my mentees at, Brenda is there, she was my mentee at Kamilimu. And so the work that I have done, actually, imagine from 2019, a 25-year-old, currently I'm serving national and global boards. I'm a board member at Siasa Place, Young Women Leadership Institute. I'm the youngest ever black Muslim lady to serve, thank you, to serve at Restless Development at the international board. I serve at RISE, which is a board at the US. Apart from that, this year I was just acknowledged as among the 100 most influential young Africans. I have gotten, thank you. I have gotten so much awards and acknowledgements to the work that I have done, and if it wasn't for Zuri Award, it's not like I am hyping them up, honestly. If it wasn't for Zuri Award, I wouldn't know that I have so much power, strength, confidence, which Nadia has been reminding me most of the time, to achieve this and beyond. And so I run Nivisha Foundation. Nivisha Foundation is a community-based organization that focuses on building community resilience using mental health and trauma-informed programs for social cohesion. So since we are young, we focus mainly on community-based initiatives, like offering, it's around mental health, obviously. So we revolve around offering community-based mental health intervention, like first of all, offering psychosocial disability program, which means we offer sign language counseling services to individuals who are deaf, who have hearing challenges, and through a counselor, like our counselors are trained to offer sign languages through that. You see how innovative we Kenyans are, young women Kenyans, or Kenyan women at large. And we also offer community-based radio health talk shows whereby we talk about mental health using local language. So if I say local language, you know it revolves around Cheng, right? And a lot of work that we do at the community level. And for me, it is an opportunity to let you know that the Zuri Award, any award that I have gotten, the Zuri Award was my first award, which launched me. It was like a launch pad for me. And without the Zuri Award, I wouldn't have been here. I've said that severally. But one thing that I say, even if you are a nominee, right, or an awardee, all of us are winners. I'm sure you will hear that word a lot from all the speakers, because I believe that. And my aspect of believing in that is how you will use the award or the nomination to actually launch you also forward. Because you may win the award, but are you going to use it? You can ask Nadia, when I won the award, every room that I entered in this place, anywhere, I will just tell you that I'm an award winner. I don't know if it is the global platform, we don't recognize Zuri Award, or the local platform. No, I was just an award winner, and I made it work for me. And for the Zuri Award, I can just say that whatever you get, whether you are a nominee, or a honoree, or an awardee, use the name of Zuri Award. It will get you places. Us, we've already made places, we've already made the foundation for you. So people know there's a Zuri Award, even internationally, globally. They know there's a Zuri Award that celebrates exceptional women doing exceptional work. So use it, even if you're a nominee, to make sure that it actually works for you to the best of your ability. So all of us are winners, and I'm wishing you all the best. And to the Zuri Award team, thank you for actually even keeping communications with me. Like I have been an alumni of Zuri Award, they call us alumni, and it hasn't been as a walk in the park, because they try as much as they can to hold your hands if you want your hands to be held. So you have to also be proactive in making sure that you know your driving force, you know what works for you, and you know the kind of support that you need, so that you can request it to the relevant people. So I forgot to say all protocols of service. Oh. Okay, so I'm just finishing with acknowledging all the excellent, important women who have come to grace this event with us today. And just my plea again to the people who are awarded, you all look amazing and beautiful, that you make sure this award works for you. You are doing amazing work, believe it. Whether you have won or not, you are doing an amazing work, and just make it work for you. Just storm into every room like I did and just say I'm an award winner. And people will ensure that you're an award winner. And let people acknowledge the work that you're doing, even if it means it's at the grassroots level. So thank you so much, and I'm wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much. Please don't award-winning walk as you head back to your seats.
And I realized I misspoke. The multi-award-winning Amisa Rashid. Thank you. And it's clear. Zuri Awards really is a springboard into greater things, and they walk the journey with you even after you receive that wonderful memento, which we'll see in a few minutes. All right, so I've been looking through Twitter and Facebook and other social media platforms just to see if people have been posting, and our next speaker actually did, and went above and beyond. They posted 3 pictures, and also with a good friend of mine, Eva Mariah, who is the CEO of BSD Group. Our next speaker is Miss Nancy Matimu, the Managing Director of Multi-Choice, who will be speaking to us shortly. So please, hold up suit, and you get that voucher I was talking about earlier. Round of applause for Ms. Nancy.
Great, thank you. Good evening, everyone. And let me first pay homage to our chief guest, Chief Administrative Secretary Nadia, and all the leaders sitting at your table, as well as my colleagues. You all know by now that I love being in the digital world. And with my friends, including Mercy from Meta, you'll be surprised, but you know tweet. So yes, I did tweet 3 pictures, and I'm going to tweet a lot more, because I love the work that we're doing. So this evening, I want to talk to you a little bit about what we do to break the bias in multi-choice. We operate in 50 African countries, and at the very top, we are led by Kabo Mawela. But Kabo has been at the forefront of breaking the bias, ensuring that a lot more women are taking on leadership positions. And it doesn't just take a whole world, it just takes one man, one woman to make a difference, and all of you in this room are called to help us make that difference. And as a result of the very intentional and deliberate efforts towards driving diversity and inclusion within the organization, we have since seen a lot more women take on very senior leadership roles. I am a beneficiary as the Managing Director of Kenya. My colleague Jacqueline in Tanzania is also a beneficiary as the Managing Director, and now the Chief Executive Officer for the rest of Africa, in charge of about 38 African countries. That includes Nigeria, and the northern region where I sit is Fulu Badugela, who is a lady just recently appointed in November last year. So quite a bit of effort in driving gender equality. We are also a partner of the United Nations SDG, and particularly singled out specifically the partnerships around reducing gender equality, reducing poverty, education, ensuring that the content that we bring in is curated to ensure that it's uplifting a lot more women and driving democratization of very good quality education, but ensuring that even if I cannot afford to go to the best school as a woman or a girl, I can access PBS Kids, I can access Da Vinci Kids, I can access EduTV and Akili Kids on all our platforms, including Showmax, which is our latest baby, and of course, GoTV and our flagship platform, DSTV. So I will get into the detail of exactly why we chose to be part of the Zuri Awards. We've actually been sponsoring the Zuri Awards, Rita. I'm very happy to work with you and your team, because you're one of the platforms that are really giving women a launching pad to be able to not only break the bias, but to really play in the local, national, regional, and international arena, as you've just had from a previous award winner, the previous speaker. So we are really truly proud to be part of the Zuri Awards and to join the celebration of excellence by exceptional and sacred women. And when we talk about exceptional women, we are celebrating women in the socio-economic and political arena as well. And it's actually quite sad to hear that increasingly women are often being frowned upon for volunteering to take on really difficult roles such as leadership in the political arena. And I can tell you, as a female leader, it does take courage, it does take being bold, it does take really stepping up to the plate to deal with the confrontation of the challenges of everyday leadership challenges. So what I would tell you, and what I have always told my colleagues who also want to get ahead, is that you must really come to the table. You must be willing to give yourself, and you must really just say, I am here, I am, and I am ready, and I'm going to do it. And we must support each other. We must stop trolling women online, because we sometimes are at the forefront of trolling other women, and or even just not necessarily trolling online, but sort of fueling the negative gossip. We should be a lot more happy and celebrating every woman on whatever platform you are on, whether it is on your WhatsApp platform, whether it is on your simple, women groups and data groups, or even in your families, because that's where breaking the bias starts. It starts with us, it starts with you and me. The men and women out there that you're waiting for to break the bias are actually you and I inside this room. This platform, therefore, especially the Zuri platform, is a good opportunity for us to partner with like-minded individuals and other corporate organizations who are in the room. And I know East Africa Breweries, for instance, is doing quite a bit in also ensuring that they drive diversity and inclusion across all diversity areas, and also specifically focusing on the gender equality. And I spoke about the senior leadership opportunities that have continued to be taken up by women in multi-choice. But what I haven't also mentioned is that, for instance, I as a leader and our managing directors in the 50 African countries we operate in, we are accountable and held to a key performance indicator relating to diversity and inclusion. And work very closely with our HR teams to ensure that joiners help us balance that inequality. We must break the bias of saying that you cannot find a finance director that's a female. They are there. And in Kenya, we have recently recruited Ruth Omondi, who is our finance director and extremely capable, and has actually propelled the Kenya operation to a model finance organization within the African space that we are operating in. We have also gone ahead to ensure that we actually achieve the 50% threshold of women leading in the Kenya operation. In Ethiopia, we have 60% of the senior leadership team led by a female managing director and women as well. We have also gone ahead to ensure that at the next layer, which is often where women get stuck, because they have gotten to a point of possibly comfort, or they don't have people to lift them up. And women, unlike men, do not aggressively go out to actually find jobs. Men will go and find jobs 2 levels ahead of them. So we are constantly second guessing ourselves. And therefore, what we're doing proactively together with our headhunters and our recruitment firms is actually identifying women, going onto LinkedIn, going to organizations and finding women, including putting them in the sales organization. I was a saleswoman. I sold Massinos. I actually hit the roads across this entire country, doing sales actively on the ground. And there is no reason why you cannot do it. I am married with 5 children. There's absolutely no reason why you cannot do it. And at the same time, still studying, and I say you run on 3 tracks. You don't run on a single truck. Nobody ever said that a woman should first and foremost just sit at home and have babies and clean up and just take care, which is a very noble profession, and I have maximum respect for it. And often young girls have used the excuse of, no, I have to take care of my family and I can't go to school, and maybe work is too hard. You can actually run those 3 tracks at the same time. Running your family, advancing your education, and advancing your career. Nothing stops you if you're doing those 3 at the same time. It has been done, many women have done it, and we will support you, we will mentor you, we will coach you, we will lift you up, because we are also beneficiaries of women who lifted us up. So one of the things we talk about as sponsors in Kenya, I'm not talking about Baba and Mama, I'm talking about career sponsors. And you've had a lot of women, including men in the boardroom, say that you need a sponsor in the boardroom. And those sponsors in the boardroom are people who can vouch that indeed you're great at what you do. So you have to start getting closer and closer to people who are able to make those decisions. And the way you will get there is first of all, being very good at your craft. and being extremely good at delivering the results, because your credibility is what will carry you. And often maybe work 10 times harder than men do. But we can do it, we are doing it, and as much as we are making gains in the social and economic arena, we shall also begin to make significant gains in the country, in the political arena as well. It's an opportunity for all of us to reflect and consider areas where we individually can collectively change our communities, not necessarily for their words, but for the sole purpose of making a positive impact on our communities and in the lives of those around us. But even our words have their place in this world, and that is to be able to inspire and to be able to add more power and fuel even greater the energies of women who have given up themselves and volunteered courageously and boldly to take on responsibilities at all levels, as you had from Amina, as low as grassroots level, it doesn't matter. And that's the reason why these platforms are absolutely important. And like she said, please use your platform to your benefit and to the benefit of those around you. All of us at Masters Kenya and the Masters Group, and also representing my CEO, Fulba Dugela, we thank you for the opportunity to partner in this initiative, and also will continue to support you, Rita, and the Zuri Awards team and the Zuri Foundation to work with women change makers. And we look forward to celebrating with them later tonight. Every nominee, you're already a winner, but there can only be one winner. But we recognize all of you, we celebrate all of you, and let's have a wonderful women. Let's go out and break barriers and break the barriers. Thank you.
For Nishik, showing us that you can have your cake and eat it to a mother of 5, my goodness, and an MD. Can she get one more round of applause? That is certainly a woman who means business, which happens to be the hashtag of Meta. And I'd like to introduce our next speaker who works at Meta, Miss Mercy Ndegwa. I was with her early this morning. She still looks as fresh as she did at 6 in the morning. And she is the Public Policy Director, East and Horn of Africa, to talk more about what Meta is doing to empower women-owned businesses. Round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. I cannot believe I'm following Nancy's act. I'm terrified beyond measure for 2 reasons. One, that I'm following her act, but 2, because, like Her Excellency Catherine, I was worried when they said that we have to wear purple. I have nothing purple in my wardrobe. Those who know me, friends like Claire, and Megan is a very good friend of mine, know that I have never owned pink, purple, those things that I don't have in my wardrobe. So this morning, I was looking for purple and I found this dress from a woman's shop on Instagram. It works, like Instagram works, one of the platforms of Meta, and I'm really proud that I found a dress that was really good. This is me admitting that this dress has just been on sale from the shop, but I'm happy that I look nice in the dress. Anyway, so here I am, and I was afraid that I would trip or coming up, which is the other thing that I was afraid of, but here I am and I'm happy. I'm disappointed a little bit at Victoria because she talked about streaming on Citizen Live, forgot about streaming, FB Live, Instagram, and all of the other platforms we have. But thank you so much for coming up this evening. I respect Victoria a lot. She's one of the few, is it Kumla Juma award winners, awardees. And so I personally applaud you because that is no mean feat. To be one of those people who are recognized for telling African stories and driving impact with the storytelling that they do, because storytelling is an amazing art, and having people like Victoria is such an honor, and looking glam always. The other thing I was terrified about, I think I administer as you can tell, Amina, you know, you're the one who has concerns when you're thinking about coming on stage, was, do I go with not reading my notes? Do I just speak off the cuff and look like I'm easy with this thing, you know? And I realized I'll probably miss half the points and just be reading my notes. So here I will do this because I need to also make sure that you get all of the amazing things that Meta is doing, but also for you to take recognition of all of the awardees, the nominees that are in the room today, who are sitting, waiting to walk up this beautiful, beautiful stage and get awarded. I recognize you. I think you're the amazing woman Maya Angelou was talking about, as so are all the women in this room, that we may know people like you, that we may be you, and you're already those people in the room, and that we may raise children of people that will become great women and strong women at that. And me as a mother, it is the one thing I pray for my daughter every single day. So I read a lot about what we do at Meta, and before I read actually, I always have like a lot of opening remarks. I'd like to recognize my Metalists who are sitting looking down on that table over there. If you could just stand and wave. So they know Meta actually does have African people that work at Meta. My amazing colleagues are based in Nairobi, and Meta is the company branding that represents wonderful platforms that I would like to believe all of you are on: Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, and many other more technologies that are presently not offered here but will be coming. And you probably have heard of things like the metaverse that we are building and hoping that one day will be in the immersive experience of the internet. So Meta cares about Africa and is invested in genuinely supporting communities across the continent, including the youth, startups, SMEs, developers, creatives, and NGOs. And we are constantly connecting people. We are constantly listening and learning. We hold a number of expert training and events with our programs implementing partners across sub-Saharan Africa with the aim of equipping individuals and businesses to meet their personal, professional, and business objectives. Our goal is always to drive positive social and economic impact across all of Africa, as we do all around the world. And also driving innovation through supporting Africa's tech entrepreneurship ecosystem, training communities, and the next generation of leaders to better understand and utilize the power of digital tools for economic growth. Our mission is to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. And I think a lot of you may have experienced that in many ways. Has anybody in the room ever had a friend that linked up with on Facebook that was like from blast from the past? Anyone ever got and had a friend request and they were like, wait, is this person, where has she been? I'm so glad to find her. Connecting people is our trade, and we love to connect people. But not only do we love to connect people, we want to make sure that when you're connected, that you can also find value, content, follow groups, and causes that matter to you. And that is what you're able to do when you're in groups, communities that you're building. And I think somebody earlier spoke about getting into those communities where you can continue to get inspired, get ideas, and I hope in one way or the other you're in some of those groups. Be it, in your Facebook platforms, or be it in the connections that you have one-on-one on Instagram with your friends. We understand the importance of being local in a global world. Our platforms are all global. The experience you have here is the same experience you have on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, anywhere else in the world. And we want to have a long-term impact across sub-Saharan Africa. In Kenya, millions of people use Meta's apps, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp every day to connect with their friends, families, communities, and to support causes that matter to them most. According to Meta, we implement digital literacy and economic impact programs that can help Kenyans meet their economic goals while contributing to employability, skills development, and entrepreneurship. Why is International Women's Day important to us? It is very important for Meta, the International Women's Day itself, and especially so as we celebrate the resilience of women business owners in Kenya. And this is especially informed to us by a report we did together with the World Bank and the OECD that we call the Global State of Small Business. And this report was published in collaboration with those partners I mentioned, World Bank, OECD, which surveyed more than 13,000 small business leaders across more than 50 countries. And we found that COVID-19 did impact female-led businesses way more than it did male-led businesses. We also found that COVID-19 businesses impacted female-led businesses in a way that they were likely to close shop more than male-led businesses, and were significantly more likely to be concentrated in the sectors that were most affected by COVID-19 restrictions especially. In fact, the stricter the restrictions were, the more female-led businesses closed their doors compared to those run by men. So when we're thinking about this problem, after we did the research and got this finding, it was troubling to us, and we've always been very passionate as a company in seeing how we can help people leverage our tools to basically leverage digital tools to be better at what they do, whatever you trade, whether you're in arts, in counseling, in whatever you trade. And so what we did with this information once we got it from the research we decided to improve on certain programs that we run. So She Means Business is one such program. She Means Business, which we run together with a partner here in Kenya called Hustle, who I would like to recognize because they are an amazing partner, was launched last year actually in Kenya, but we have run this program in other parts of Africa and have been really successful in particularly helping women do well. And we know that when women do well, economies also do well. Because women represent half of the population. Can you imagine, if you don't invest in women, you're leaving behind half of the population, which would be very sad. And for half of this potential to grow and to create opportunities and to overcome poverty, we have to invest in those women. So Meta believes that supporting women and unlocking their entrepreneurial potential will create a more resilient, inclusive and equal society. So the She Means Business program is a long-term commitment to the company to support women's economic empowerment through digital and business skills training and in creating valuable connections. We launched this program in Kenya last year, like I said, in collaboration with Hustle, who are present at this gala dinner. I don't know where Hustle team has seated. Hustle? Okay, recognizing you wherever you are, can see their hands. And so far we have trained over 3,000 women business owners. Thank you. The program's goals have become even more important in the wake of the pandemic, which threatens to undo the progress on gender equality achieved in the years before. Women business owners needed to pivot to digital to ensure that their businesses were kept open. Like I said, the statistics show that they were likely to close more in comparison to men-led businesses. And also for them to be able to reach existing and new clients. She Means Business did support them on how they could leverage digital platforms during the pandemic. Meta's apps, including Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, have been used for business around the world to connect their customers in these trying times. And they have also worked as equalizers for very many gender barriers in the physical world itself. One example is that of a female entrepreneur. It is that a female entrepreneur can start a business now with only opening a Facebook page, instead of needing capital to open a physical one. Isn't that amazing? That just with your phone, you could actually open a business today and reach the world, like literally reach the world. And that is the power of social media and the connections it affords you. That rather than the limitations you have of being within the brick and mortar model of having a store on the front of a street, which is amazing to still have if you could. But in the absence of capital, and during the COVID times, we noticed that a lot of people who lost their jobs, or those who were, because of the institutions, restrained from being able to move as freely as they could, started to think about how can I continue to reach customers, and coming on platforms like ours was the answer that they needed. And suddenly you could be able to reach new global audiences, start to export things outside of your usual revenues. Customers who that previously maybe walked by the street and walked into your shop, now are not the only ones that could buy from you. I just spoke about buying this dress off Instagram today. It is such an example. This dress could very well have come from Uganda this morning if there was a fast mode of transport, or anywhere else. And therefore, similarly, for any women-led businesses, just by opening a Facebook page, tomorrow you could actually be reaching the world using your page. That is why, as part of the Zuri Awards, again, another formidable partner that we love, and this is why we were very happy to be brought on board to partner with Zuri. We are proud to announce that we will offer a series of training sessions to all the nominees, whether you win or not. We'll be offering you training sessions and all the honorees of this award and provide them promotional support that they can use to run campaigns on our platforms. In addition, we welcome all the past Zuri Awards to participate in the She Means Business program, which they can find through her Hustle's Facebook page and the She Means Business website. We have a She Means Business website, if you look it up, you'll find it, where they can register to attend the training. So all of the awards, present and past, are welcome to attend the She Means Business program on our account. In conclusion, today's women experience a myriad of unparalleled challenges. The glass ceiling, as we call it, or the unconscious bias. Today we're talking about breaking, the thing this year is to break the bias. The unrelenting expectation to care for others. You just had Nancy, my good friend, and another formidable woman who I've always been in great admiration of. As well as the third year of a global pandemic. All of these continue to be huge challenges that women experience. which has disproportionately, like I said earlier, affected women both socially and economically. Meta is proud to be a platform that promotes change, elevates women-owned businesses, and works toward economic opportunities for all. As we celebrate International Women's Day and throughout Women's History Month, Meta recognizes the challenges women continue to face and celebrates those who go beyond time and again. And I believe those are all of the women in this room. From the moment I walked in, all I have had is statements from, little conversations I've had of people lifting me up in different ways. Oh, you look lovely. Oh, I haven't seen you in a long time. Oh, Mercy, good to see you again. And all of these things are what we are as women. And I really applaud all of the women in this room and hoping that you continue to go beyond time and time again, unrelentingly. As you've heard from others speaking before me, nothing should be stopping you. Do not be stopped by the biases. You must break those and continue to trudge on like never before. The women who go beyond borders to inspire others and level the playing field in Kenya and across the globe. The women who push beyond biases to prove they're capable of the extraordinary. The women who rise beyond resilience to reinvent themselves, embrace innovation, and reach new heights of achievement. We congratulate and celebrate all of these women. Thank you so much for your attention.
Mine is to just ask you all to stand up. Stand up. Let's give a round of applause as we welcome Cabinet Secretary Professor Margaret Kovia to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please have your seats. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Fire. Thank you. Nadia, that is Nadia. She makes me happy. Because when His Excellency the President appointed Nadia, he brought diversity. Are you together? He brought diversity in terms of gender, in terms of youth, and our contribution is immense. Can you give her a clap? And Nadia right now, of course, for me, she brings something new, something different. She has broken the barriers where incumbents become the HBD valley. And I want to apologize for coming late. I was just a little bit held up, but at the same time, we also don't want to read you very boring speeches. So thank you very much, Nadia, for this invitation. We value you. My point number 2 is His Excellency the President, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, is a very rare women champion of gender equality and women empowerment. Let's give a clap. Because what that means, the fact that political leadership that supports women empowerment is very critical. Because, right from home, women meet a lot of barriers from home. We now know from research, women who have done very well, they are very empowering mothers. Take that they are very empowering mothers. So that comes back to you. What are you doing when you are bringing up your boys and girls as equal so that they have equal opportunity and they completely feel in this country that they are able to maximize their potential, both socially, economically, socially, culturally, and socially. Because I think, much as we have been told, the boy child has been left behind, I think there's no parents who want their boy child disempowered so that their girl child can be empowered. Are we together there? So we just want to give, the government, we just want to give equal opportunity both boys and girls, so that they can develop their full potential and make their contribution in the society's development. But why did I come? I think Zuri has been working with the State Department of Gender for quite a lot. I think the last 4 years when I've been there. And every time we are either assistant minister, somebody equivalent to Nadia, an assistant minister, come and attend this event. But this particular time, I felt I had had quite a lot of what Zuri is doing, and I said, I will need, even if I had another appointment and commitment, I needed to come and join you and witness this occasion. And I'm very happy to be here. I also thought I should not miss this opportunity. When I reflect on my own development coming up from my career to what I am now, the struggles that women meet as barriers on the way. Right from the family level, within the career, the institutions, and struggling to find you up here. In my view, I was coming to preach to converted. Because if you are here, you have already covered a lot of ground, especially the nominees. So you are already there because you have shown up, and I think that's what really matters. So I keep on telling people, show up, have a positive outlook. Because if you are thinking gender discrimination is going away, it is not, because I'm a cabinet secretary and I still meet gender discrimination. Do you hear that? That is not about to go away. Therefore, it's something that we have to keep fighting. We are not where we used to be, but we are also not where we want to be. I think that is the journey we should think, that we are not where we used to be 20, 30 years ago, and where we want to go. When I got employed, there was no house allowance for women. Can you imagine that? No house allowance for women, because as a woman, you're supposed to be housed by you. Then those who are before me fought around that. Then there was, the maternity leave was like 6 weeks. Women have had to fight to get more months for their maternity leave. So what are we trying to say? That don't think we have reached. The journey is still with us, and whatever contribution you make, I think it counts. Therefore, allow me to read the speech. I hope it will not take so much of your time. And then, because in government, they want to know what did you say as a minister. So if I just don't read the speech, and I have no office to go, because my officers sat down and wrote. So I will suffer from my officers, why did you read the speech and work throughout the week? Two, as a minister, what did you say in that forum? Because other things can be said that I did not say. So bear with me, I read it very quickly. And let me also thank the many people in this room who have supported the government, especially State Department of Ministry of Public Service, Gender, Senior Citizen, and Special Program, Married and Semi-married lads. That's what I've been entrusted with. Children are with me, women are with me, senior citizens are with me, people living with disability are also with me. So I think that responsibility makes me wake up and come here. I thank you. I thank you, all of you, for listening to me. God bless you.
I want to start with protocol, which is the hardest bit of the night. Thank you very much, Professor Margaret Kobian. We really were looking forward to having you, and thank you for coming. We enjoyed your presence. Thank you, Nadia. Where is she? Hi. It's nice to see you again, representing Zuri in such a big way. Thank you. You know, when you came to Junction, it was a long shot inviting you. Thank you very much for coming, Monjiko. Ambassador of Ireland, I don't want to botch your name because I know I will botch it. Please. What is it? Finula. Thank you very much. Slovak ambassador. Thank you very much, Katrina. Mrs. Lorenza, thank you very much for attending. Karina, thank you very much. Anna Mtabati, thank you very much. Mr. Jan, thank you very much for attending. And all you speakers, thank you very much, guys. We would not have done this without all of you. You're exceptional. Thank you very much. All protocols observed. I want to start with the judges. You know, these guys came for 239. They told me 230. 239 was a big number. They've been doing 150. I know there are people who came for the Meta Award and they were 32. They were like, how did they do the 239? Honestly, it was a tall order. Lillian and your group, thank you very much. I want to call my dear sister, Rita. This would not have happened without the two of us. So, thank you very much. We had an able team of women. Where are they? You're just, if you hear the heckling, that's where they are. Out there. Our young team, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ida, Winnie, and Milka. These are the women who drove the vision of this. We couldn't have done this without them. To the women, the 46 of you, I know it's been said once, twice, 3, 5 times that you're all winners. Trust me, you're all winners. And there is also the other discounted from the 239. Honestly, the fact that you stood up and brought in your submission, that already makes you a winner. Next year, I'm actually officially removing that trophy because I'm feeling like it gives too much pressure to the people who come here. And the end game, as Nadia told you, and as Amisa told you, it's not the winning, it's what you do after this. What are you going to do? Who are you going to meet? How will you use this exposure that you got? Yeah? Please put yourself out there. That's the difference between a Zuri Award nominee and the one who's not. Because you have to step up. You have to step up and speak for yourself. I have another team of women seated on that table right there, taking pictures. They are tiny in size. Today you will meet the Zuri. Zuri, Zoe, Zahara, Mom, and Gasheri. Come. You'll meet who Zuri is. For the first time, we brought Zuri for all of you to see. This award was named after a little girl, a little princess, who is named after my sister, Rita. Mom and Gasheri, why now? Come. This is Zuri. Zuri. And this is Zahara. Why it was named Zuri is because it was born the year she was in my womb. She was in my womb and someone asked, can we call this Zuri? And I knew her name. I said yes. And these two are other exceptional women. This is my mother. And this is my right-hand woman. This is a woman I cannot do without. She is the one who takes care of my little princesses every day. When I can't be there all the time, she's the one. We celebrate her. I'm sure all of you might be fortunate enough to have Gasheri in your life. Yeah? And this is why we move with the women that help us be who we are. And lastly but not least, my father. Oh, there, come! Our father. I don't want to say mine. My father, our mother. Yeah? So, what I want to say is that no one is built alone. You're built by a whole community. There's a whole community behind one person. You have to pick up your community and see where your community can hold your hand. Because women have talked about how those biases are broken. They're not broken by chance. They're broken by people. The people who are with you all the time, who make sure they're pushing you forward. Yeah? My husband would have been here. Rita's husband would have been here. Did he come? Nick, where are you? Our husbands, our colleagues in the office, they're shy to be here. They're like, this is your day, celebrate, yeah? So they are the ones who help us be here. So I ask all of you, please take care of your community because they are the ones who actually build you. Yeah? Don't leave them behind. Move with them. So I am coming in between all of you and your food. But I want to thank all of you who came because you can invite people and then they don't turn up. It is possible. But look at it, we are houseful and we appreciate it. We are sorry for keeping you for too long, but it was for a working cause. And the food is right back there. We hope that you'll enjoy it. Please take time to speak to the nominees because we didn't have a good opportunity to do that, especially our dear partners that we had a small meeting for. We thank you very much for coming. And we wish that you keep supporting these women through our foundation, the Zuri Foundation. Thank you very much.
The founders and the minds behind Zuri Awards and of course the Zuri Foundation, thank you so much, everybody. And as she said, well now I'm the individual standing in between you and lunch dinner. And we thank you so much for your patience. So what I'm going to do now is I will announce by table. The buffet station is to the left. You can see the lovely stainless steel serving dishes waiting for you to just dig in. So we'll start with tables 1 to 6. So the table hosting our chief guests, table 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kindly make your way to the buffet station, after which I'll periodically come on stage and announce the other tables. Once again, the buffet station is to the left. And you can start queuing. Band, the stage is yours as we continue with dinner. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor hosting tonight.